Alright guys, so this almost didn't get covered because FGO JP kind of just slid this in here in between NA's anniversary and in between the new event that they just dropped with Saber Medusa, but it's the third part for the Evocation Festival, which we were very unsure when we were going to be getting more parts for this, but it looks like we kind of have a better idea, and I have a little bit of a theory on when we could see some more of these. I'll kind of get into that as we start talking about what's in this festival itself, but if you just want the short of it, basically, as you can see right here, Jalter Berserker is back, Hokusai Saber is back, and Skyhawk Assassin is back with a buff. So that is very nice. Unfortunately, these two didn't get buffs over here, and I'll kind of talk about a little bit of gripes that I have with that as we get into the video. But yeah, we're going to be talking about all of this and more in today's video. But before we begin, if you have not already, make sure you leave a like on the video and you subscribe to the channel for that sweet daily FGO content, because even if FGO JP tries to slide this in here and see that I won't see it, man, I see it. I make it. I'm finding all this stuff, right? I'm making sure that you're informed on what's going on both versions of the game. And if you want to see me play FGO every day, I do that every weekday, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every other weekend now with the Nuzlocke. So that's also kind of interesting. But anyway, let's just start getting right into this. So yeah, first and foremost, let's just talk about the buff that Skyhawk is getting, because I think this is probably the most interesting thing for people. And it's not bad. It doesn't save Skyhawk, right, by any stretch of the imagination, but it definitely makes her a lot better. So if we pull this up over here, you can see that they're giving her an anti-divine niche over here with a battery and then 50% crit damage for 3 turns. Again, I don't think this makes her insanely godly or anything, but I think it does save her. She has a couple of things that she does actually kind of need to make her a bit better, but this is a very strong step in the right direction, because if you look at her kit right now, I mean, yeah, she's got like, well, this is pretty much like a non-skill realistically, but this is kind of the grounds for something good. Realistically, if you want to take this, make that 3 turns, and you want to make this 3 hits, because I know they don't like to give 50% quick damage for free, then I think she's got the grounds for a very, very strong kit. But realistically, even if you're not going to use her as, say, like a farmer or something, which she can be decent at because her NP gain's not bad, and she does have a decent bit of hits on her own NP, I think if you want to do that, or if you want to use her as like just kind of a single wave clear, you just need someone that's kind of strong, because let's be honest, if you don't have the strongest account, a free NP5 servant that can potentially double buff themselves with this divinity buff over here, this can be good. Strong step in the right direction. She's not like crazy dummy nutty or anything, but I do like what they did with Skyhawk. Now, I do have a little bit of gripes that they didn't actually buff Jalter or Hokusai over here, because like with Kentucky Rider, while I think they're fine enough as is and they're still going to be very solid options, I definitely think it's very fun for the game, especially because these are free-to-play servants that are free NP5s. I think it's very fun that you give people a new rank up for these servants so they can kind of try them out in a new light, right? Because you might have been playing with, say, Jalter Berserker like during Summer 3, then you get a rank up quest, and then, you know, you get to like have a new dynamic for the servant, right? Because even, again, like Kentucky Rider, while his first and second skills are pretty good, his third skill, it's almost a meme how non-existent it is, right? Like, I think we can all agree, not quite the best skill, or like you can maybe give him a little buff to his NP, maybe throw something interesting or neat in there. I think you could still do that without making them the most dummy, nutty, broken people on the planet. Like, you could still make limited servants that are going to be better than these free-to-play servants, let's be honest. But it just makes things very fun because it gives you a little bit of content to play with the rank up quest, and then you also get to test out the new servant, all that good stuff. But I am happy that we at least got this. I just kind of hope moving forward we start to see them buff numerous servants, or all 3 of them when they come out. Speaking of when all 3 come out, I think we actually do have kind of a good idea as to when they're going to release these Evocation Festivals. So the first one they kind of just released out of nowhere. They announced it. They're like, hey, we're going to be bringing back free-to-play servants. Here's part 1. The fact that it's called part 1 implies a part 2. And then we were like, okay, we got part 1 shortly after. Where's part 3? And it kind of, you know, was going on a little bit. And I know a lot of people, like when I was streaming my chat, were like, we're never getting free-to-plays ever again. They're done. And I was like, no, just give them some time. Maybe they'll release it. You know, let's just wait to see how they do it. And I think something interesting is all the way down here, you see that they have this damage bonus in main story and event quests. So I think what they might do for some of these Evocation Festivals is that around certain events where there are relevant free-to-play servants or they're related to the event, they actually might go ahead and drop these. Now you might be wondering, well, why are these summer servants relevant to the current event? Well, and this is little bits of spoilers if you don't want to know, potentially one of the next summer servants that we're going to be getting, but it does look like we saw the silhouette for a summer Donzo in the current event right now. And so if there are going to be summer servants that are relevant in this event, it makes sense why they would like drop these 3, right? They'd bring back 3 summer servants because they might be relevant because there's summer related things happening. So I think during stuff like Christmas, for instance, we could definitely see an Evocation Festival come out. And I know that I was actually talking about this originally when they did the massive Halloween event that we're actually going to get on NA this year, where they brought back all the Liz servants. I'm like, this would be a really cool idea. Bring back all the summer servants, bring back all the Christmas guys, give them all buffs, and that's going to be really, really cool. And they're kind of doing that. They're doing it a little bit different than how they did it with all the Liz guys, but this is still fine. It seems like it might be a little bit more consistent than that, but I think you can kind of use that as a bit of a gauge to be like, okay, when certain events where there's a few free-to-play servants that might have relevance, we can expect it around those times. Like, I'm not going to be shocked this year if we do end up getting an Evocation Festival around Christmas. And then we'll probably also get another random one for servants that don't really have any relation to one another. Like, the first one we got was like, what, Sambakets, it was Kentucky Rider, and then like Shuten. I guess they were just like, just throw those 3 together because they're whatever, right? I guess the Sambakets thing might throw a little bit of a wrench in it, but then again, we have other Christmas services they could release as like a little package. So that's kind of my ongoing game theory as to like how they're going to start releasing these moving forward. But if you don't know how to get these over on JP, or you're an NA player and you've missed the last 2 videos that I've done talking about these, basically you get these little leaf things. If you miss some of the main logins, because for the last 2 Evocation Festivals, they did a little login bonus where they gave you a pretty decent amount of these things so that you could go and claim some of your what are they called? Your free-to-play servants. Sorry, I'm drawing a little bit of a blank here. But yeah, so you could go get them. If you missed out on those, don't worry. These do come back in events, and then you just go to the shop, you pick up your first copy, and then you can pick up all the other copies. You get them to NP5 for basically free, just for playing events or for logging in when they make these a login bonus. You can get all of their Ascension material. It's very, very free. I really do like how they're actually doing this, because we have some servants like BB especially, who's kind of locked behind rare prisms. I don't really mind that Archer Altera is locked behind the rare prisms. Like, I do mind, but it's not like she's so game-changing that it matters. But like the BB servant, that's a moon cancer that a lot of people may or may not actually have on their account, and gaining access to one could actually be kind of crucial. It could be very helpful for them. And so I like that they're making these a little bit more free, if you will, right? Because we do have a lot of free-to-play servants that fall into different extra classes. Like, there's the Pretender Liz, right? Obviously a Pretender class servant. If you don't get Oberon or Hephaestion, if you don't get any of these other guys, you can at least pick up a free-to-play one. And I think it's good to kind of have at least one servant in these extra classes, just for more annoying fights where maybe they might be good, right? There might be some story fight where Pretenders are really good, or a Moon Cancer is really good, and it's just good to have them. So I like how they're doing this. They're also giving out a bunch of Saint Quartz, right? Like, this is the login thing that I was kind of talking about over here. Like, yeah, they seem to do this every single time these evocation things come around. So that's why I'm always saying it's probably good to just have a JP account on hand. Because I remember when Arcoid came out, a lot of NA players started hopping on over to JP. And I'm like, look, even if you don't play it every single day, just like logging in and just kind of collecting things will be really good. So the next time a really gas servant comes out that you want to play with, you at least have access to a lot of these things, right? You have some kind of basis to start off with, and you didn't miss out on all this stuff. But yeah, that's really all there is to it. It's just a nice little festival they threw out here. I do think the Skyhawk buff is nice. I just, kind of wish we got these two over here to get a little bit of a buff. Plus, I'm a little biased. You guys know that I really like Jalter a lot. I would have liked them to give her, I don't know, something, man. Because, look, if I pull her up, there's one issue that I have with this servant. Because, it's very hard for me to criticize Jalter. We love Jalter around these parts. But the one thing that I'm like, man, that's a little annoying. Why did you do that? It's a third skill over here. Man, how are you going to give her a 20% buster buff for one turn? They were like, hold on a minute there, pal. A 20%? That's a little too good there, buddy. I'm like, look, if it was like 50%, or if it was like Santa Lily who had a 55% buster buff, I could see it being one turn. But I'm like, come on, man. Like, you could be a little nicer than 20%. It's like the Raikou only having a 30% buster buff for one turn. I'm like, dude, what are you guys doing, man? Fix this skill, dude. But yeah, nice festival. Make sure you guys get these dudes. Make sure you also play the event so you can also kind of grab some of these little leaves over here so you can pick up all your extra copies. As far as like a priority list goes, realistically, just grab one of these two first, Jalter or Hokusai. They're both really, really great. Hokusai might be a bit better than Summer Jalter. I'm trying not to be biased, but then again, Summer Jalter is going to help me out with a lot of difficult quest. She just kind of obliterates people with Buster cards. So I don't know. Yeah, I'll let you guys discuss it in the comments down below. You guys can fight down there and be like, I think Hokusai is better. Then all the Jalter Sims can come in and be like, nope, and then just smack those people down. But with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day. Peace, late, guys.